side, gets back in the Mercedes, is talking, then all of a sudden conks out, is incoherent at times. Is this going to be strong evidence as the basis for the impact that these drugs may have had on George Floyd?
Well, absolutely. And of course, we kept hearing the question about, well, was he ever in a coma? Remember what the thing with respect to the overdose allegation from the defense was that there had to be coma or some sleep or something. And then she said, yes, he was asleep and had to be alerted by the police. So she's a very brief witness, but an important witness to the defense theory on overdose.
Michael, what do you think about this testimony?
I don't think it's going to be very helpful for the defense. I think, more important testimony was probably their expert witness, who also, thought, because of the way he pushed back, sort of lost some of his credibility with the jury, like just his inability to admit to basic facts that were obvious to everyone, sort of undermined some of his believability and credibility with the jury. But I don't think this testimony is going to be as critical as the defense thinks it is.
All right, you asked for it. We're going to play it for everyone now. Let's take a look now. The use of force expert that Michael was talking about, he testified for the defense. We'll take a look at a little bit of the direct, and then we'll take a look at an interesting moment from cross-examination.
Can you just briefly overview your opinions in this particular case?
I felt that Derek Chauvin was justified with acting with objective reasonableness, following Minneapolis Police Department policy and current standards of law enforcement and his interactions with Mr. Floyd.
Based on your view of the defendant being on top of Mr. Floyd, up to this point and beyond this point, the defendant did not alter the level of force that he was using on Mr. Floyd, did he?
No.
Even though Mr. Floyd, by this point, had become compliant. Fair?
More compliant, yes.
Well, what part of this is not compliant?
So I see his arm position in the picture that's posted.
Right.
And, a compliant person would have both their hands in the small of their back and just be resting comfortably versus like he's still moving around.
Did you say resting comfortably?
Or laying comfortably.
Resting comfortably on the pavement.
Yes.
At this point in time, when he's attempting to breathe by shoving his shoulder into the pavement.
I was describing what the sign of a perfectly compliant person would be.
So attempting to breathe while restrained is being slightly non-compliant?
No.
No.
Rick King, you're the one who knows about compliance more so than the rest of us, having arrested many people. When is someone compliant, and when did George Floyd become compliant in this whole situation?
So it appeared to me from watching the video that once he was proned out on his back, handcuffed behind, Mr. Floyd was compliant.
No, he wasn't.
But for me, we're not talking about a use of force, we're talking about a control measure. Because at that point, what he's doing is a control measure. Again, in Palm Beach County, in my 20 years of law enforcement experience, we're supposed to roll him up on the side. That's what you're supposed to do. And Derek Chauvin didn't do that. What he did was he did an arrest procedure, and which can result in that resting position of you across the upper back of the shoulder. Maybe not only that, I think the witnesses for the prosecution pointed that out. We're not supposed to be across his neck, but he was on the upper part of his back. But how long do you stay there was the question, and I think in the very beginning video, you remember that probably the first time we talked about this case, I used the word positionless fixing it. We've been training that way for at least 20 years now. So I wouldn't have kept him in that position.
Yeah, and what do you think of the expert today for the defense? I mean, this is coming on the heels of some really good experts for prosecutors.
Yeah, obviously, there are a lot of people critical of him. I know Michael is, he said so, but I thought that, he's credentialed, he's been at this for decades, he's been a police officer, including in Missouri, and he was pretty unflappable. He said the right things. He just stay as a proof, of course, that this was excessive force, and the death was a result of that amount of force was excessive, and then you deal with what the officers are allowed to do and what they should do with respect to use of force. So he kind of did the nuts and bolts that had to get out there for the defense, in my opinion. I've had a lot of police experts on my side, I've had a lot of police experts against me. They're all different. wasn't my favorite in terms of the ones that I've hired, but I don't know him personally. I felt that he suffered on cross, great. I thought the cross examination was excellent. But that having been said, I think the defense through the M.E. Baker with a number of points, and with this witness, they're basically sowing the seeds of doubt with this jury. And I could go on about the M.E. medical examiner, Dr. Baker, but he gave them a lot. And if they have the causation, basically,